Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Bowler, and today we'll be talking about Death Stranding. If you haven't known already, I was extremely excited for this game, and it was pretty much the only thing I ever thought of since E3 2018. I had very high expectations, more on that later. I haven't played any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but from the looks of it, it's one of the best video game franchises ever, so that brought up my expectations as well. I knew that this game would be very important, since it's the first game made by Hideo Kojima since its disbandment of Konami. In this review, we'll be discussing not only all the aspects of the game, but also the hype leading up to its release, since that will be vital for my final score on this game. This review contains spoiler gameplay footage, all owned by me. You have been warned. So, where the hell do I start? This game, it does so many things right, but also some things wrong. Before I get to the review, let's start off with a little resume of what this game is actually about. Death Stranding is the name of an event that is occurring on Earth, causing supernatural events such as ghosts to pop out of nowhere, people exploding, and random speeds of time to occur. Most of humanity has been wiped out, and the last of humanity has isolated themselves in bunkers. You play as Sam Porter, and your duty is to find and reconnect everyone to a network called the UCA, United Cities of America, in order to rebuild your country and start anew. That's as simple as I can make it. Time to get into the aspects of the game. So, why not start off with something that we can all agree on? The graphics. No matter where I am, the game is always visually stunning. Makes me cry inside to look at it. The character models and their facial animations are very well done as well. Not to forget, their design is unique and mega badass. This helped me get more invested to each one of the characters. The attention to detail is beyond my understanding. The graphics really have no flaws whatsoever. This is certainly one of the game's strongest points. And that brings me to the characters. I already had high hopes that I'd love the characters since they're all portrayed by real actors, but I didn't know I loved them this much. The actors have all done a fantastic job here. Each character shows their lowest and best points in life that is perfectly executed by these great actors. Troy Baker is MVP here. His acting was mwah. So why no nomination Game Awards? There's one character I didn't like too much though, and that'd be Fragile. Her dialogue isn't always the best, and I don't get it with all the damn crying. I understand she's got dooms, but every time I see a tear run down someone's face, I shrug it off in boredom. Feels a little cheesy. Overall, great performances really. Behind each character there's a story to tell. I found myself interested in each one of them, wanted to know how their story would end. On top of that, I've now become addicted to Mads Mikkelsen. I want to watch all of his damn movies now. Kojima did a really good job here picking a cast. Sound. The sound in this game is very well done. From shooting my gun to running along grassy fields, climbing tall mountains, or crossing rivers. The natural sound in this world is really music to the ears. And that was really vital for the immersion into this game's impressive world. Now for the music and soundtracks, the songs Kojima picked for his world merely comes from two bands, Low Roar and Silent Poets. While doing a delivery, the song could start playing in the background at many different moments throughout the story. These songs not only play at the perfect time, but make a dream team with the world that Kojima has made. The artists Kojima has picked are underrated treasures hidden in the music industry that I now listen to myself. Many times throughout the game, I find myself very relaxed, sitting back as I take in the world of Death Stranding, all the while listening to these beautiful songs. Really open. Does it work? Definitely. The world of Death Stranding is unlike any other, one I hope I can see bits and pieces of in future games to come. I know I'm on Earth, but it doesn't feel that way when I play Death Stranding. The landscape of the world is nothing short of exceptional, filled with challenges to overcome. It's Mother Nature at her fullest. The world of Death Stranding has countless sights to behold that are literally jaw-dropping. Thanks to the field of view of the game, no matter where you are, there's always so much to see. Throughout the world of Death Stranding, you'll be doing lots of walking, yes, but there's also so many experiences this world has to offer that you will have to learn and master in order to win. The world also contains enemy outposts that want to steal your cargo or even kill you. More on those guys later. But Death Stranding's world has a big flaw to it. You see, the world Kojima made is a world that should be explored to its fullest because of just how big it is. Sadly, exploration in this game doesn't come with many rewards. The most you'll get is to find another bunker or two and a few nice sights. But there's not much to find, and that can be bothersome at times, knowing just how lonely you are and how little structures that there are to find. The story. So, funny enough, during the writing of my script, I actually tried explaining the whole story of Death Stranding, but just gave up halfway through. No, what we need to talk about is how it's executed, and this is where things get controversial. The story starts off really slow, starting off around at least 2 hours of cutscenes. Many would find this boring, but I myself found it interesting, since it's necessary to explain and start off a game as confusing as Kojima's Death Stranding. The cutscenes are an aspect of their own for this game since there are so many of them. Let me say this now, I really hope Hideo Kojima makes movies in the future, because that's how I feel when watching these long cutscenes. With the great graphics, camera angles, and tone this game sets, it really can feel like watching a movie. Although confusing, the narrative is nothing short of exceptional. To see it all come together with one of the best casts in video games I've ever seen, it really is a story I wish would never end. And boy does this story make me sad. I almost cried. Almost. Won't spoil the story, but it's really genius. Making a story under a universe like Death Stranding must be hard. Mad respect for Kojima. But that doesn't go to say this story doesn't have flaws, because it certainly does. And I think the story's biggest flaw is the way it explains what the hell is going on. Talk. Everything is explained by talking. Talking. That can certainly get boring at times. And the ending? I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. Kinda felt anticlimactic. And what the hell even happened in the end?
Gamer is confused. Send help.
With all that out of the way, you know what it's time for. The thing everyone's been talking about. Gameplay. Is this game truly a walking simulator like everyone says it is? Or are those just mad Xbox fanboys? Really, it depends on how you look at it. Because there are a lot of mechanics in this game that are based around walking. Center of gravity, keeping your balance, tripping. So in the way that involves many mechanics around moving, yeah, you could say there's a walking simulator hidden under all this. But for those saying most of the game is walking, they are wrong. Yes, there's a lot of walking in the game, but there's more than that. Vehicles, ziplines, exosuits, the game provides many alternatives to covering distance. Not to mention that when you're making a delivery, there's always bound to be some sort of challenge, something that gets in your way. So no, it's not really a walking simulator, you boomer! The real question is making deliveries actually fun? Is coming across enemy camps or BTs every once in a while doing lots of traveling enough to make it fun? The answer to that is no. The gameplay is more satisfying than actually fun, and the funnest part, in my opinion, of making a delivery is really just finishing it. I'm not going to be climbing a mountain saying this is so much fun. No, that's not how things work. I don't know if this was Kojima's intention or not, but the game isn't really fun. It's just tolerable. And for most of the game, I just wanted to see how the story ends. There are some great boss fights in this game, and the battlefields. Those are my favorite parts, more on those later. But the game isn't really all that fun. It's tolerable repetitiveness. Okay, I said that word wrong, but whatever, let's keep going. I find it really cool how you get to plot your route and have to decide on what you're going to take with you. But no, it's not typically fun. But a game doesn't exactly need to be fun to be good. No, there's more than just a plain fun. There's the challenges you have to overcome. Think about it this way. Do you think people getting slaughtered in Dark Souls are having fun? I mean, some of them are, but sure. But lots of them just want to beat the game. It's overcoming challenges. And Death Stranding provides lots of obstacles and challenges that you have to learn to overcome. And that, to me, is super cool. Then again, you see, that's cool, but also a problem, because at least Dark Souls has cool combat. And the combat in Death Stranding isn't really that great either. The enemy camps, human enemy AI isn't the smartest, and they can just be tedious to deal with at times. Like anything else, they're just seen as an obstacle. They have little to no amusement to offer. And the big badass BTs, even on hard mode, I find those bosses extremely easy to deal with. They have a great design, and I love how the map changes, but it's not good if it's so easy to kill. The battlefields are one of the only moments where I'm actually having fun, even though I really think shooting should not be a thing in this game because of the fact that the cargo literally gets in the way of your camera. All three battlefields are perfectly made of atmosphere, sound, design, and difficulty, so it's up to you to decide whether that's of interest to you or not. To me, it's a win. Death Stranding is just so new, and I really do love the way everything plays out in making a delivery, even if it's not all that fun. And one thing we all need to accept is that Death Stranding is very important to today's game industry. Death Stranding took so many risks, and it's unbelievable knowing how all this was made in less than 4 years. I show so much respect to games that take risks. I really do. Because our industry seriously needs more people like Kojima right now. Serious. Now, I could end the review right here, give my final score, but there's just one more thing we have to get to, and that's the journey towards Death Stranding, the hype towards the game. But I'm not talking about just anyone here, I'm just talking about myself. So just before I get into this, let me say this, without including this final part, I'd give this game a straight 9 out of 10. Even though it has its flaws, and it isn't exactly amusing, the game won me over by constantly presenting new mechanics and challenges for me to learn and overcome, all backed up by a complex yet fascinating story with a beautiful world, soundtracks, and cast. The E3 2018 trailer was what really got me hooked. The world was like no other, and at the time, it felt like Hideo Kojima was hiding what literally could be the best game in the world. After seeing 4 trailers, it felt like something really huge was happening, and Hideo Kojima was constantly giving us more questions than answered, and I loved that. The game was looking more like an open world survival game to me, and I thought it was going to be a very silent game until you come across these big monsters that just wander around the world and you can fight whenever you wanted to. I couldn't hold my excitement, so I joined the Reddit of Death Stranding in order to constantly be up to date with any news on Death Stranding whatsoever. Over the months, Kojima had people visiting his studio trying out his game, and all of them, except one, were saying that they were in love with his game. They were saying Hideo Kojima was such a genius and that we weren't ready for his game. We had no gameplay at this time, so I was just overflowing with excitement. No, but seriously, I just couldn't bear it. It was one of my most hyped games of all time. So when I played Death Stranding, I was mega underwhelmed, which is a big shame because I probably would have really liked this game and gave it almost a perfect score if it wasn't for all the promises and hype they built for this game. In the end, because of the whole hype factor, my final rating of Death Stranding is a 6 out of 10. The game has one of the best soundtracks, worlds, cast, and graphics that I've ever seen in a game. And to me, overcoming obstacles won me over, made the game addicting. And in my books, if it's addicting, it deserves a good rating. But that hype, it's there and it killed it. It killed me. I set my expectations way too high and I was underwhelmed for the whole game. It's a darn shame because I did this to myself. Nonetheless, I think you yourself should try this game. Ignore the negative things people are saying and just play the game because this is a game you need to try. It's so divisive and you shouldn't let reviewers tell you if it's good or not. Just play it yourself, really. Alright, that'll be all for my review, everyone. I hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for more.